In recent weeks, a series of high-stakes legal confrontations has unfolded, providing a stark demonstration of the federal judiciary's resolve to uphold constitutional rights amid controversial administrative practices. The courtroom has become the battleground where the principles of due process and free speech are being vigorously defended against what many see as overreaching actions by the Trump administration. This report examines 3 pivotal cases that underscore the judiciary's determination to check executive authority while preserving the rights of individuals under the Constitution. The first case under review involves the detention of an alleged Venezuelan gang member, a scenario that highlights the critical importance of due process. Historically, similar incidents have seen individuals swept up without adequate legal safeguards, as was evident in previous proceedings overseen by Judge Bosberg. In those cases, immigrant detainees were rapidly removed without the benefit of a fair hearing, a practice that many critics have likened to kidnapping. However, the recent episode in which Trump's executive branch sought to detain another alleged gang member marked a significant turning point. Significant turning point. The government presented a warrant to Judge Brinker, a jurist with decades of experience, aiming to justify the detention on the grounds of probable cause. Judge Brinker's response was both swift and unequivocal. In a pointed rebuke, she dismissed the warrant outright, describing the accompanying affidavit as utterly deficient. "This is a terrible, terrible affidavit," she stated, noting that if such an application had been submitted in a criminal case, it would have been summarily rejected. She chastised the agents for their presumptive approach, warning that the language used, laden with assumptions and unsubstantiated editorializing, fell far short of the rigorous standards required when an individual's liberty is at stake. In her remarks, Judge Brinker underscored that due process is not merely a procedural formality, but a foundational constitutional safeguard that must be rigorously maintained. Her forthright criticism served as a clear signal that the government must adhere to established legal protocols, even when national security concerns are invoked. Transitioning to another critical instance of judicial intervention, we turn to the case of a PhD student whose academic pursuits were met with punitive administrative action following the publication of an op-ed. The student, who was in the United States on a visa, found herself at the center of a contentious debate over free speech and the limits of governmental authority. After expressing her views on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine, and views that were deemed unacceptable by certain elements within the Trump administration, her visa was abruptly revoked. Critics argued that this punitive measure represented a clear infringement on First Amendment rights, an accusation that has since sparked widespread debate in legal and political circles. In response, the student mobilized legal resources and secured representation to challenge her removal. Her attorney filed a writ of habeas corpus, a legal instrument that demands the justification for an individual's detention, asserting that her removal constituted an unlawful deprivation of her constitutional rights. The matter swiftly reached the federal courts, where Judge Denise Casper took decisive action. Recognizing the potential for irreparable harm, Judge Casper issued an immediate injunction that barred the government from proceeding with the deportation until the merits of the case could be thoroughly litigated. This injunction not only halted the removal process, but also reinforced the principle that constitutional protections extend to all individuals present within the nation's borders, irrespective of their citizenship status. The ruling sent a clear message. The government cannot selectively strip constitutional rights based on political considerations or personal opinions. The third case examined in this report concerns the future of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, an agency established to shield consumers from predatory practices by financial institutions. The CFPB, which has returned billions of dollars to millions of defrauded consumers, has come under intense scrutiny and pressure from various quarters, including prominent business figures and political advocates seeking to curtail its regulatory authority. Among these voices, Elon Musk has been notably vocal, and his criticisms, along with those from figures like Russell Vogt and even former President Donald Trump, have fueled attempts to dismantle the agency. In a ruling that many observers consider a robust defense of consumer rights, Judge Amy Berman Jackson delivered a comprehensive memorandum opinion from Washington, D.C. The judge's decision was groundbreaking in its clarity and assertiveness. In her opening remarks, Judge Jackson referenced statements from Musk, Vogt, and Trump to frame the contentious debate surrounding the CFPB. She acknowledged the arguments that the agency had become a woken, weaponized instrument used against industries and individuals that fall out of favor with certain political factions. However, the judge quickly shifted the focus to the legal standards that must govern such disputes. She posed the critical question of whether the court should intervene to preserve the CFPB operations before the broader case concerning its fate could reach a final determination. After careful consideration, Judge Jackson concluded that the plaintiffs were likely to succeed in demonstrating that, without judicial intervention, they would suffer irreparable harm. She reasoned that allowing the lawsuit to progress unchecked would place consumers at significant risk, and that a preliminary injunction was not only justified, but necessary in the public interest. This ruling stands as a testament to the judiciary's role in protecting regulatory agencies from politically motivated assaults, ensuring that consumer protections remain intact even amid aggressive efforts to undermine them. Taken together, these three cases provide a compelling narrative of a judiciary that is unyielding in its commitment to uphold the constitutional guarantees of due process and free speech. Whether it is through Judge Brinker's candid dismissal of a substandard affidavit, Judge Casper's timely intervention to protect a student's rights, or Judge Jackson's proactive steps to safeguard a critical regulatory agency. The courts have repeatedly demonstrated that they will not tolerate actions that compromise the fundamental rights of individuals. The broader implications of these rulings are profound. They illustrate that, despite an administration intent on rapidly implementing policies that many perceive as draconian, the judicial system remains a bulwark against unchecked executive power. Each decision reaffirms that the Constitution is a living document, one that applies universally and demands that the government act within the bounds of established legal norms. In doing so, these cases also serve as a reminder to the public that hope and resilience can be found, even in the most challenging times. In an era when it might seem that the forces of political expediency are overwhelming democratic institutions, the steadfastness of the federal judiciary offers a counterbalance. These rulings not only protect the rights of individual citizens, but also ensure that the rule of law prevails over transient political agendas. As the legal battles continue, it is incumbent upon all who value democratic principles to remain vigilant and informed, drawing strength from the knowledge that the courts are actively working to safeguard the freedoms that define our nation. In conclusion, the recent judicial actions serve as a beacon of hope and a clarion call to defend the very fabric of our constitutional democracy. From the critical importance of due process in detention cases to the preservation of free speech for non-citizens and the defense of regulatory agencies against politically motivated dismantling, the federal courts have repeatedly shown that they stand as the final arbiters of justice. As these legal disputes evolve, the enduring message is clear. No matter the pressures exerted by political actors, the rights enshrined in the Constitution are inviolable. It is this unwavering commitment to justice and fairness that continues to inspire confidence in our legal system, even in the face of formidable challenges. For those following these developments, the message is unequivocal. When the courts speak, they do so with the authority of the law, reminding us all that the protection of constitutional rights is not negotiable. As we await further updates on these and other related cases, the resilience of the judiciary stands as a testament to the enduring strength of our democratic institutions.